Okay, now, Atlanteans taught that gods evolved from the earth as human beings gained scientific understanding of processes of creation. Egyptians considered stars to be the home of pious, devout souls. Among the earliest conceptions of life of the soul after death was one particularly widespread, according to which the soul left the body behind and went up to heaven. All impurities were taken away, the divine part alone remained, and the soul became a god like the other gods, was welcomed by the glorified, and entered proudly through the gates of heaven in order to remain in everlasting glory with the sun god and the stars. Atlanteans taught and practiced the science of astrology. Now, as viewed from space, the Earth and planets revolve around the sun in a fixed plane. Now, this picture best describes, I think, what I mean. When I say a fixed plane, I mean one level. You know what a plane is, one level. The Earth, now let's say here's the sun. But now remember, this sun is 93 million miles from the Earth, so that's a long way out. Here's the sun, and then here are the planets all around. This is, we have an excellent video on this. And they're all spaced out, and they all revolve around the sun. And this, the sun's path, the sun seems to move. Really, they're revolving around the sun, but it looks like the sun seems to travel around. This is called the ecliptic. And it seems to travel all around those, the planets. And as it seems to travel, it passes through these stars. And this is the zodiac. So you see, this is, it travels from one. So it's like when you say, I'm a Taurus, or I'm a Libra, or I'm a Pisces. That means the sun was traveling through this sign. And those are spirits. Those are light radiations. So the zodiac, the astrology, that's the oldest science in the world. That's the science of light radiations. It was too complicated or too advanced for the Ice Age people, or from the people from the ice fields. They didn't know what they were talking about. So they would say, what spirit? But now, here's another picture. This is a picture, I don't know if you can see the globe, but this is the Milky Way. These are the stars around here. Here's one. This is a beautiful picture. Here's the Earth inside. Here's the Milky Way, and the zodiac is out here in the ecliptic. And this is like, they call this a celestial sphere. What they've done is just opened it out. Here's one. See, here's the sun. This is the Earth. They don't have the other planets in here. But the sun seems to travel through here. And those are light radiations. They can tell. That's like you're incarnating. These are light radiations that are interacting with you, or that contain your DNA pattern. This is the oldest science. This is real religion. That other stuff, I don't know what it is. It's a mess. It's mirror image. Okay, now, this is a picture that Egyptians used this to show how spirits incarnate. See, these are the 12 signs of the zodiac. There are 12 of them, and this is the spirit incarnating. These are spirits over here who are begging to please interact with us. And this is how they depicted creation. See all these wavy lines here? This is an energy field. That's what that. And this is like the supreme creator. These are past sun gods. This is God. This is the hydrogen. This is all the past creation. This is the current sun god. They have him here because he's radiating all of creation. So you'd have to, I can't think like them, maybe you can, but at any rate, this is the way that they pictured creation. Now, each astrological constellation of the zodiac, I shouldn't have put this one over here. Each astrological sign of the zodiac occupies 1/12 or 30 degrees of the ecliptic. The sun seems to travel around the ecliptic over the course of a year, and therefore it seems to travel through the constellations of the zodiac. As it travels through Taurus, for example, all those born under the zodiacal sign of Taurus, the same applies to the other signs. The planets are concentrations of gaseous and liquid spirits that interact with incarnating or reincarnating light radiations of spirit to form your personality traits and characteristics. Now, a celestial globe, that's still this, is a representation of stars and constellations as they seem to be located on the globe of the sky. The Earth, planets, and sun appear to or seem to be located inside the celestial globe. That's this one. And there's an excellent video on that one too. Now, the celestial globe has a celestial equator, orbit, or ecliptic. The Earth's orbit is inclined about 23.5 degrees to the plane of the celestial equator. The 2 points of intersection of the Earth's orbit and the celestial equator are called the equinox, the vernal or spring equinox on March 21st, and the autumnal or autumn equinox on September 22nd. Now, day and night are everywhere the same length on the equinoxes. And the summer solstice and the winter solstice are the 2 points in which the sun appears to be farthest north or farthest south of the equator. Now, the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere around December 22nd is the shortest day of the year. At that time, the sun used to be directly over the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, I think most people have seen these 2 tropics. You have the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And it's still marked that way, although the Earth has changed, and modern science, of course, has not kept up with them. So the Earth spins on its axis and revolves around the sun, and the celestial sphere simultaneously spins on its axis and revolves around the sun. The equinoxes. Now, think of clockwork with all the wheels, gears, and spheres constantly turning and revolving and intermeshing in a definite cyclical order. Now, the current precession of the equinoxes currently has a period of 25,000 to 27,000 years ago. Now, remember that great idol of Tiahuanaca? They calculated a precession cycle of the equinoxes for the Aryan evolutionary cycle as 27,000 years ago. Now, an axiom is an established law of science or art. It is a statement that needs no proof because it's true. And it says, that which is above is as that which is below. Now, this is what I don't understand. Modern science does not take this into account. Everything consists of spiraling, coiling radiations of light energy. The universe consists of wheels within wheels, of spiraling, coiling radiations of light energy that intersects, and energy flows from one sphere or wheel to another. Now, every single wheel or sphere has a precession of the equinoxes and an equator, etc. In other words, you may have a precession of the equinoxes on the earthly sphere, one on the celestial sphere, and then there's a higher celestial sphere. So the ancient people calculated the alignment of the spheres. They celebrated the spring equinox not just as the start of a growing season for plants and crops, but as a start of a growing season for all life, a start of a flow of creative energy. They celebrated the alignment of spheres as the flow of massive amounts of creativity. They feared the alignment of spheres that brought massive flows of degenerating energy, coal, ice, and snow. In other words, 2 spheres may align, or 3 spheres may align. The more aligned spheres, the greater the flow of energy. The aligning of spheres occurs at polar shifts. The greater the number of aligned spheres, the greater the degree of the polar shift. Now, climatic conditions are a reflection of the Earth's orbital movement. Remember, the Solutreans abruptly left them, and Magdalenians exploded with creativity, and the Earth warmed, reportedly due to changes in its orbital behavior. Now, notice all the astrological names. Now, when they talk about the celestial sphere, they always talk about the first point of Aries. The systems and the names were developed by ancient scientific astrologers to study God and nature. Now, this is not a science and system of modern-day races, because they deny the validity of astrology. They don't recognize it. This was something that was developed long, long ago. It's the oldest. And the great idol of Tiahuanaca contains a record of the state of the heavens 27,000 years ago. Okay, the precession of the equinox, which began 27,000 years ago, was the beginning of the Aryan cycle of expansion, and it's calculated to end on December 22nd or the 23rd, the differences in the hemispheres, 2012, which is just a few days from now. A cycle of precession of the equinox begins at the first point of Aries, and is divided into involution and a cycle of evolution. Cut.